thing as well. All right, so let me start this discussion for tonight. And this is the 175 episode for author community discussion with me as the contributor for this episode. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for providing time, and welcome back to our weekly author discussion with different topic. And I am as a contributor for this evening. Like usual, before we start today our discussion, I'm going to read some rules that people here, participants, need to obey. First, mute your microphone when you are not allowed to give your opinion or something. So like it seems like we need to respect to other people when they are speaking or giving their opinion about the topic. Number two, you are not able to give your statement if the moderator doesn't allow you to speak up. On number three, focus on the topic of discussion. On number four, the hosts are capable of cutting your statement if the moderator think that's enough. And number five, encourage you guys to be active in discussion. So guys, don't be shy, just try to give your opinion, because we provide this community, we provide this discussion for you to practice, and yeah, to practice your English absolutely, and try to being critical thinker people. And number six, or the last rule, is rest your hand on the notification of participant if like you want to be the first person who give your opinion. So guys, I guess I have read the rule of our discussion for tonight, and here we go. Let me start the discussion for our topic tonight. So let me try to open the slide first. Wait a second. And how was your day, Mr. Damas? Mr. Damas, is it real, right, Mr. Daddy, Mr. Damas?
Yeah, this is the same. This is still me. I'm sorry, I'm off cam because I'm cooking right now.
Yeah, it's okay, and I can hear that as well.
Yes.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, cool. Let me try to share the slide as well. 7490. Okay. Okay. Like you guys, you have seen in our flyer or the poster that I've met, the topic for tonight is about preserving local languages. And absolutely, we will be concerning in the youth role in enhancing literacy. So let me try to share the slide as well. Ta-da! Okay. Is there anyone wants to be the first? Okay, what is that? Your background overlap yourself. Yeah. Okay, I guess this one is better. Okay. So talking about local languages, let me try to ask you one by one. Started first from you. What about you, Olivia? Do you speak in local languages? Or yeah.
Yeah, local language. Do you mean like Japanese?
Yes,
Because
Japanese
I
or
live in
something.
Java.
Do you speak in your local language?
Yeah, I speak in local language. Like I also live in Surabaya, right? So it means that I can use Surabayanese, also Japanese,
Yep.
and yeah, and Indonesia as well. But
Okay.
Yeah, but because I inherit my race from Chinese,
Mhm.
because I have a Chinese ancestor, I a little bit can understand Chinese, but passively
Okay, really
I
cool.
cannot use Chinese actively.
Awesome. Thank you, Livia. And what about you, Eric? Do you speak in local language beside of Bahasa Indonesia? Eric. What about you? Yeah, Miss Ekalita. Do you speak in local language?
When I study in Surabaya, sometimes I use local language, but mostly passively, but not too often because all of my friends mostly they adjust with me or with some people that from outer Java. So if they are speaking with from outer Java like Jakarta or Sumatra, something like that. Mostly they try to speak in Indonesian, but sometimes when we are having relaxing communication like jokes, yeah, sometimes we use Javanese, yeah, or if we are like gossiping, something like that,
Okay.
sometimes sometimes we use the Javanese, yeah, for the topics, yeah, because maybe it's more like I don't know what it's called, like more apa ya, yeah, the sensational is different, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but if we are talking like lecturing, discussing, we use Indonesia, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you, Miss Ekalita. And what about you, Mr. Damas? Do you still use a local language?
First of all, I would clarify for something that I grew up and was born and raised in a rural area, but the inclusivity of the people who are living there are coming from different ethnicities. They're from Sundanese, they're from Javanese, they're from Mandanese, a lot of ethnicities in one area of mine. Which the reason why I didn't use my own lingo, I half Buginese and Japanese and Diagonese,
Oh,
but
cool.
none of them used any of their own lingos in our home, conversation. Unless my elder sister, she is able to speak more than three, yeah, those three lingos of ours.
Oh, cool.
But I did learn several phrases in Buginese as well as in Japanese because I'm currently working in a field where a lot of Japanese are here.
Yeah.
So that it is just a very simple phrase, but I'm not really sure. I think it's just because, yeah, I was born and raised in that particular area. So that's so unfortunate that I didn't able to, yeah, possess my own lingos.
Okay. Yeah, nowadays it's kind of hard for young generation to to use their local language because a lot of factors, and yeah, like you
Yeah.
mentioned it as well. I guess one of that it's the factor. So wait a second. Let me try to invite other people to join as well. Record. Okay, cool. So let's jump to the first question. I was asking some people here as well, Sir February, about do you still use your local language in your daily life? What about your Sir February?
Okay. Me?
Yes. Do you still your local language in your day.
Exactly. Even in my daily basis, whenever I talk to my parents, for example, on call, or a friend of mine who meets me, and then of course he's from Palembang, for example. Of course, we're gonna talk Palembangese. So the accents, I don't know, because like maybe almost 2 years I've been in Java Island, and then it shapes my way of speaking. I mean the accents. Well, the typical of people in South Sumatra, exactly in Palembang, they tend to stress the what do you call the certain words when they are speaking, but right now I feel that in my daily basis it's a little bit changing because I tend to have a slow pace when I speak, and also slow lower tone when I'm speaking. That's the thing that I feel the different. But when it comes to the people, the local languages, whenever I meet people from Palembang
Yep.
in place that I'm in right now, so then it automatically changing. Yes, it's automatically changing to be Palembangese totally.
Okay, so it means like you still um preserve your local language because you still use it when you communicate with your parents. So thank you so much. Awesome. Hold on. Okay, let's jump into the first question. I will try to share this one. What is the significance of preserving local language in this era? Did you ever think about this question before, guys? What about you, Sir Daddy?
Um, yeah, I think the significance for oh my god. Ooh.
Do you think
Serving local languages, I believe that is also part of preserving our own what is that called? Our own identity. That's how I see the importance of preserving local languages because we were born with thousands of lingos in Indonesia.
Yep.
And each island has their own sound, their own lingos, their own percussions that creates their own identity, which I believe that a part of preserving local language is actually a part of preserving our own identity that creates Indonesia as Indonesia. That you cannot just say, oh, because of that we are currently, you know, facing the globalization era where we need to learn English, but at the other hand, we forgot the roots of our own identity, which is our own local languages. I think it's quite preposterous or iffy that people nowadays considering that learning English is more important than learning their own local languages. They tend to learn English as a part of globalization, you know, requirement proposed, where if you want to be competing with other people, you need to learn English. But I do believe that there are just lingos which are equally needing to be learned. Not only that, you need to learn English for your own competition in current world, but you also need to learn or preserving your own lingos or local languages as a part of your, you know, preserving your own identity. So by any chance, the significance of preserving local language is also making Indonesia will always stay as Indonesia. if you change our local language, or a lot of people, or in our recent generation, have zero knowledge of our own local languages, I believe that we will have the problem of crisis identity, which
Yes.
are going to be the problematic later on, who we are and what we are, because we are all being centralized with the globalization. I don't what's that called? Again, I'm not against the people who learn English, because I do learn English,
Okay.
but I think people need to understand that how both languages are important in this recent era. So yeah, that's my notion, I guess.
Okay.
Back to you.
I do agree with some of your statement that you say that local language, it's also our identity as an Indonesian or as a person who are from different places. Thank you so much. Hello, Miss Dani. Is that you? Is Dania or something? Okay. What about you, Miss Ekalita? What is the significance of preserving local language? Do you think in this era, especially for your generation, it's still important for them to learn and try to speak in their local language?
If the local language is, the meaning is Indonesian language, of course it's important. But if like Sundanese, Pandanese, and like Fijian, yeah, because I have a son, yeah, when they are, because I'm from Jakarta, so my grandparents, my parents, they didn't use the local language. So I'm very fortunate, very
Very lucky.
yeah, very lucky, because in Jakarta we didn't have to learn about Pawis, yeah.
Okay.
But when my children, when they are in elementary school and until high school, they are complain when they have to learn about Sundanese, because we didn't talk Sundanese in the house, and it's very asing topic a line, yeah, for us. And then if they are just talking with for the friends without any pressure, maybe it's didn't it's we didn't object it. But if it entered to curriculums, yeah, but when at that
Hello, Miss Ekalita. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much for Miss Ekalita. And what about you, Sir February? What is the significance of preserving local language nowadays? And like, do you think it's still important for younger generation to study or to learn their local language?
Yeah, exactly. I believe it's very important. Just one case in Papua. Everyone, if you know. Am I audible? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Miss Ekalita, your voice is suddenly disappear, and I don't know, maybe because of connection or something.
Okay. For example, one of the cases that I know from Papua, well, basically Papua has almost 300 somethings of local languages, but in fact, there are a lot of languages that local people do not know how to speak. So imagine that as an Indonesians, we have lots of we have hundreds of languages, but local people or youngster cannot cannot speak their own local language. I believe that it's going to be a big problem in the future. So people do not know their own not nationality, their own color, where they are from. As a Palembangese, to me, for example, as a Papuanese, and then and uh, yes, that's the what do we call the the fact that I don't believe it, to be honest, but that's the fact we face right now in Indonesia. I think that's very important for us, not only youngster, even for uh, because it's a for me personally, I could say it's sustainable learning. So we cannot what do we call we cannot say it's because of our parents or our grandparents who do not teach us about the local language, but or it's even about the advancement of technology. No, not that. I don't think that's the main problem, but it's the way we how do we call the way we get in touch with local language, where we are now. For example, like when you are in Palembang, speak Palembang. You don't have to speak like Jakartans or Tangsels or Jaksels, things like. I think that's all, Mr. Iqbal, for me.
Okay, thank you so much. And what about you? Oh, finally, we have some newcomers. What about you, Miss Danny? Sorry to ask you to call you as a missus. I thought like you're my friend. So what about you, Miss Sir Danny? The first question that I wonder and want to know more about you is, do you still use your local language in your daily life? Sir Danny. Hello. What about you, Fahrudin? Still on the roadside, guys, and rest. Okay. Okay. Hello, what about yours, Sir Fahrudin? Wanna try to share your opinion about the question? Okay.
Sorry, sir. Okay. Sorry, I still
Is it you,
don't
Mr.
understand.
Who? Okay. So yeah, what about you? What about you, Mr. Damas? Have you answered this question before?
Yeah, I was the first one who
Oh my
answered this
goodness.
question.
Okay.
So, if you want me to repeat it, probably I can add some of other significances. I used to say that it was for identity purpose, right? Like preserving identity, right?
Okay.
I think one thing that I want to add is that also a part of when we preserving our own local language, we also basically trying, improve one level of our adaptability
Yes.
or improve one of the part of our conformity to our locals. When I move a lot to a lot of cities. I didn't stay in one place only. I was born in Samarinda and then moved to Sulawesi and had a chance to live in Jakarta as well, in Malang, and now I'm currently in Lampung. One thing I noticed was that the majority of the people that you live in, you need to conform yourself. But it means that if you want to be accepted, then you need to understand how to learn their language, their habits, and learning the local language is a part of how you actually can connect with the locals. So that if even in the current job that I have right now, even though it's very big company that everyone from every island, every language is basically here, but the majority of people here are Japanese
Yes.
and Lampung, so that I need to learn both languages to basically connect with them. That's the reason why I learned how to manggut in Japanese, so that I have to
Okay.
learn how to say oh matur suwun, even though I really have no idea about learning Japanese, and then I need to a little bit bowing myself whenever that I have to thank them or want to passing through them. I think that's also a part of how you basically, increase the level of adaptability that you might have,
Yep.
or by any chance, the survival skill as well to learn local languages. So
Yeah.
that I think that's my additional info, no, not notion for this question.
Okay. Really great. Thank you, Sir Demis. And yes, based on the data that I got from the Language Development and Fostering Agency of Education, Culture, Research and Technology Minister, they released this data. Indonesia in 2023, Indonesia has 716 local languages, but many of them are at risk of becoming extinct and in critical condition. The main reason local languages are becoming extinct and is that native speaker not longer speaking them and passing them on. And yeah, for this year, there are 71 local languages in 25 provinces this year are targeting to revitalize because of that. And yeah, that's the data that I got from the government. So the second question is about how the local language contribute to cultural diversity. So let me know it first from you. What about you, Sir February?
Yeah. How do local language
Contribute to cultural diversity? Like, is the local language still have a place to contribute in this modern era, or yeah, it's not
Wow.
useful anymore or something?
How do local languages contribute to cultural diversity? How? The
Yeah, in
question
your
is how.
opinion, just try to give your perspective. Or
Yes, exactly. Because the question is how, so I need to think. If the question
Think and
is
make
it,
a proposal, Mr. February.
yes. If the question is it possible? Yes, I agree that okay, it's possible. The question is how the local language contribute. I don't know how, but I believe that it gives the identity, like Mr. Davis said before, gives the identity of, oh, you are from Borneo, you are from Celebes, you are from Sumatra, you are from Java, things like that. And we know that's the geograph geographic of Indonesia. Okay, so you are from Aceh to Merauke. So that's that's the way we know other culture. So the more we know other culture, the wiser we will be, like local we will be. So we can appreciate that maybe we have different meaning of some a certain languages, like maybe in Java, I don't know, some I don't know. Oh, sorry. In Sumatra, I don't know. I forgot the word, but in Sumatra it's kind of dirt word. In Java it's okay, it's good. It's not dirt. It's not that dirty. It's not that dirty, but in Sumatra it's dirty. But because we know that okay, this is their language, so we just need to appreciate, and we just need to understand that they use it in their daily basis. So it's still fine. I think that's the way we contribute the diversity because of we appreciate, and the way we appreciate, the way we what do we call, we understand their cultural. So that's why whenever they use their local language, they use they use their local language, we try to understand, uh, and it's helpful because we have one national language, which is Indonesian. So whenever we don't understand, we just need to ask, like, to confirm that, oh, what is the meaning of that word? Because in my place, it has different meaning. We just need to confirm that. Oh, in order to uh, avoid misunderstanding between us.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much for trying to give your perspective about this one. And we have a newcomer. Thank you so much for Mr. Eka to provide your time and joining this discussion. So what about you, Sir Eka? Want to try to give your perspective about the question? Or before that, let me know it first. Do you still use your local language in your daily life? Or maybe like with communicate with your family or something? Oh, okay. Still have a dinner. Wait, okay. And what about you, Sir Daddy? How do local language contribute to cultural diversity in your mind?
It absolutely contributes a lot to diversity, or what we call as inclusivity, in our own language. That as it shows a real, hold up. Woo, it's spicy.
Okay.
I do believe that it adds a lot with, the diversity that we call as, our national slogan, that unity in diversity, right? That Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. That languages or our own lingos contribute a lot to diversity because they create those different sound, percussion, intonation, syllables, all of those combined. Even the alphabetical, sentences are very different. Javanese, Bouganese, and even Guyanese have different words and different, alphabets. I don't know, what's it in English? I just call it alphabets. It creates that difference where different creates, I don't want to say comparison, but it creates distinction that makes you different. That's at the point of diversity, that each of us is coming from different place. That you brought up again about the identity, that's very relevant with this statement, with the question.
Yep.
That's the reason why I believe that it really, does contribute to the diversity itself. That if you, well, I don't say that just because we speak Indonesia means that we forgot diversity. When we say unity, that means that we are gathered in one island, one country, the same vision and mission. That's what unity means, right? But Bahasa basically aids, the effectiveness of communication, because we are very diverse, we're very distinctive towards one another. That you probably, Mr. February, probably he's from Palembang, or Miss Eka from Surabaya, I'm not sure, from Jakarta, and I'm from Samarinda. If we speak our own lingo, we're totally distinctive. We're very different. We're not able to connect in one single, thread. That's the reason why we need Bahasa. But that what adds the value of diversity, that I'm from England. So, oh, you are? Well, I'm from Netherlands. So yeah, that's the reason why. So that's what I believe in, that the differences, that percussion sound and differences that coming from our own lingo really add the value of diversity. And I love certain words that probably have different meaning. Like we knew the link, the word mother in Bali and the word that the same sound of that in Japanese are totally different, and it could be shocking to some people. Do you know what's the Balinese word for ibu in Bali?
Sir Eka.
Probably he will he will enlighten us about the word that, and it's super funny. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, like I love that diversity. It creates, oh my god, how different we are, yet we are very, united. We're one, but we are very diverse. That's, yeah, I don't know. We're united yet diverse. This is really interesting. Our slogan, national slogan itself, is interestingly describing we as Indonesian very thoroughly.
Okay.
So absolutely, it has the value.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for Sir Daddy. Okay, what about you, Sir Danny? How the way the
Hi guys.
local language
Hi,
can-
hi.
Ah,
Sorry for taking sometimes and maybe it's not really quiet here, but basically what I think about how do local languages contribute to cultural diversity is like language is bringing the language does the embodiment of the culture itself. For example, like in English, like there's obviously a very famous saying that time is money. While in Java we have like alon-alon sing penting kelakon, and
okay.
it's just really is the actual embodiment of the culture itself. While in the Western world, the time it's very precious to them. But here in Java, it's more like just live your life. Everything can be not really in the hurry, right?
Yeah.
So I think yeah, that's why we have the Bahasa Indonesia. It's just Indonesia is very culturally diverse, and if you just speak in Javanese to a what you call it, Sumatran people, they might can understand you, but the values that you bring as a Javanese and also as Sumatranese can be a lot different because, like I said before, culture is embodied in their own uh, languages, so they value different things. So yeah, that is why we have one what you call it national languages as Bahasa Indonesia, so we can understand each other in this very diverse nation. And I think like even in the US, like that's a melting pot. There's Spanish there, there's French. They kind of trying. It's not just English. They started to learn Spanish and French to just simply to understand the person to you're talking to. And also it's very useful also when you knew other person with different mother tongue, so you can basically what you call it start a conversation with what they usually uh, talk about or the topic. So for example, if you're in the UK, then you probably talk a lot about the weather and so on and so on, but I don't think that's really the matter here. So it's very different from one languages to the other, and it will help you to understand the person you're talking to. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think about the what you call it, the contribution of languages to cultural diversity. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much for Mr. Danny.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree with some of your statements that you mentioned it before because when we decided to learn about language, it's not just about a tools for communicating, but it's about culture. So it will be satisfying for us to learn about their culture as well when we started to learn about a language, right? Because it will make us to understand well then only just learn about the language. Thank you. Let me move to the next part. Yes, because wait. One of the reasons of preserving local language is that it contains knowledge that we might not master yet, but because they are understudied. Because some of cultures or some of things that spread in our society, we can only be able to understand it if we can speak or if we understand their languages. So yeah, master in one language or local language, it's really important as well. So like we can understand about the disaster risks and mitigation knowledge from the society or from other old people, environment protection, and absolutely knowledge on biodiversity. Okay, and the next question is, yeah, did you ever imagine about this one? What about if suddenly one day the local language that we have suddenly disappear, or like in your mind, what are the consequences of language lost within a community? So yeah, what about you, Miss Ekalita? Do you ever imagine someday there is no local language anymore in our young
I,
generation?
I don't know, maybe like my grandfather, he always thought that I don't know, maybe because he is warrior, yeah.
Yep.
He referred to the like Sumpah Pemuda, something like that, that we have like one united language, right? And maybe he is taking that too deep, and then he didn't want to teach his children and mostly grandchild to beside Indonesian language. He can speak Padangnis. My grandmother also can speak Padangnis, but they never teach the Padangnis to their children because, yeah, like my grandfather said that Indonesian language is our language, not the locals. He said something like that. And my mother cannot speak Padangnis, but my father can speak Padangnis. But my father never speaking Padangnis also to us, but with for the family from the Padang, yeah, he speak the Padangnis. But I didn't know why. Um, in Jakarta also we didn't bring our local language, and we have different tribes, yeah, like my bestie from Manado, and yeah, but mostly my friend is Padangnis, but they cannot speak Padangnis.
Okay.
It's the Jakarta, the reality in Jakarta is like that. And when we go to the Surabaya, when I study in Surabaya, mostly them feel like social empathy, for us that didn't didn't recognize the local language.
Okay.
They didn't bother to teach us the Japanese if we want, or talking in Indonesian. But we are learning the Japanese is not for the pressure, because we respect our friends, yeah, just like that. But I think about the local language, if disappear, it's a consequences of the if you are blended, yeah, with other tribes, and you are living in the diversity in the real meaning, you will blend it them, and you will choose the one language that can bound it you, and you didn't feel that your friend is other tribes is different with you. It's not like that. You are the same because you have the same language. That's the goals of the Sumpah Pemuda, right? Because they want to um, erase the diversity among them, to be one. It's the Indonesian language, and there are three promises, right, in the Sumpah Pemuda, something like that. And I didn't say, I mean that my grandfather is, he have a different perspective, yeah, about this, and he say that to my mom and all his children, something like that. Yeah. So
Okay.
for in my family, it's we already have the consequences. So, but it's okay for us because um, mostly with the family also we are talking in Indonesian. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for Miss Ekalita. Yeah, or what about you, Sir Eka? Why not try to give your opinion about this one?
All right. So actually, local language is one of the most important things that can save the future of culture or traditional customs and so on. Because with language, people will have the strong connection between each other, and they will, how to say it, like they will have the obligations
Yep.
to maintain their community and so on. And the consequences of losing like local language, actually we can see it in Jakarta when there's no more people speak their own language or their ancestral language, and it makes Jakarta feels like the city just to work or how to say, like, just to survive and so on. And that feel, it will lead us to individuality and how to say, like, disintegration between the people. We can say that a lot of like Sumatra community or maybe Java community, when they are going out from their area and they can still maintain the connection between their people. And we can see like there's a village Java in Jakarta or Melayu village in Jakarta. It means that they feel, even they are far away from their home, they still have the obligation to maintain their culture. So language actually is the most important thing to hold their identity, because without language, it means that it's just a matter of time to lose all of the aspect of the culture. For example, like marriage culture, like there's no more we will not see Betawi culture in marriage, because they already have the, how to say, like the their own marriage tradition or marriage the wedding things and so on and so on. And it's also happening in West Java and several areas in Java. So yeah, actually the consequences is really dangerous, actually, because the lose of language, it means that you will, it's just a matter of time, you will lose your identity and also your culture as how to say, like, as a community and so on. Maybe that's.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for Sir Eka. What about you, Sir Dede? As a person who have experience, yeah, living in some places and trying to
Mhm.
learn about the language, new language as well, wherever you were living there. So yeah, that to ever imagine about this one. What about like suddenly there is no more people who can speak in their local languages, or we can say, yeah, what is the consequence of local language when the local language is disappeared or lost within the community?
It's really hard, guys. The question. Yeah. It's called language death or language loss, right? That our indigenous language are degrading due to, lack of uses. So a lot of people, I think, there are some research basically stating about how, the implication of language death or language loss after the era of colonialization, especially in Indonesia, that I believe one of the consequences inflicted that is inflicted by this effect is basically the self-identity loss, as well as that we are integrated into just one site, one fits all approach. Means that we just use one single specific identity to acknowledge who we are. I think it's also part of questioning the self-identity, as well as that some people are, when they were born in their own local languages, as well as that they are coming from different area, and then suddenly they didn't use it as well. Recently, one thing that's also lost from the not only the language but also their cultural belief, that was also death because of the language death as well. So for me, the consequences contribute to that is that you will, it's more like that, but sociological effect compared to the psychological effect to me. That recently, yeah, we don't really use our lingos or our indigenous language for getting job, which is so
Yeah.
unfortunate that even in schools as well, I believe that not every school basically teaching the lingos that they are located in. When I grew up in Samarinda, they didn't teach me Diagnese language. Or when I was in Sulawesi, they didn't teach me Bugis. Actually, some of this elementary school are teaching them, but I don't think it's continued by now because the recent competition between a lot of people today in the current world are not really requiring people to use our lingos, which, yeah, that's contributing or implicating to the cultural loss, as I mentioned. But let's say if we are coming through the psychological point of view, when we're only thinking that we are coming from one specific area, even though that we are coming from different, we are having different type of skin, color, sound, intonation, what's that called again? Enunciation. But because we forgot how to use preserving our local languages, we are integrated in one single language, which is Indonesia. It doesn't really matter, but it will create, a questioning in the future that why are you white? Why are you a little bit brown? Why you are light skin? But we're just speaking the same thing. It's inclusivity, but at the same point that we are, one centralized in one single particular culture, which, yeah, that's a cultural loss. That's the consequences. It's not really affecting how you get a job unless it's going to be demanded later on in the future. In current job right now, we're requiring BI testing, none of them using lingos testing. That's so unfortunate. If it's demanded, for next year, for example, I believe I think it's to answer the next question. I believe there must be a question where we need to how to preserve the lingo. So I will just keep that way later on for the question. So I think, yeah, it's a cultural loss as well when we lost our own lingo or indigenous language.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Damas. Yeah, and I do agree with your statement. And suddenly, I imagine like when the local language is lost or disappear, it's not just about we we lost something or tools to communicate, but we also lost about the culture, the guide for us how to do something or how to because it's about culture, it's not just about language, right? So thank you very much for coming, and we have two comers Hello, let me say hi to Sir Yanuar. Hello.
Hi there.
buddy.
It's fun to see you again.
Oh, me too. So what about you, sir? Let me give you a first question first before we are jumping to the
Okay.
question currently. So do you still use your local language in your daily life?
Yeah, I'm still using it in my daily life.
And how do you feel?
I just feel so confident and so relaxed when I use my local language in daily activity. Because I also live in small town in East Java, which is a majority of the citizen of my hometown still using Japan. It's beside there's also Maduris between Japanese because my hometown is located in the southeast from Surabaya, which is known as you know, Pandalungan culture, you know. There's mixture between just between Japanese and Maduris. There's mixture between Java language and Maduris.
Okay, cool. So do you ever imagine like when someday the local language is disappear and most of people do not know anymore how to speak in their local language? So how do you think what will happen? What is the consequence of that point?
Yeah, I feel unfortunate if the local language disappear in our daily daily life language because the local language is also have a important role in our life. Besides, it's also too easy to communicate with other people. Is also we if we use our local language, we could preserve our pride. We
Yeah.
could preserve.
Right.
We could show. Yeah, because we could show our pride to the other, maybe to the foreigner, some
Yep.
village. Yeah, they also learn about how wonderful culture are. So if we lost our pride, so we just lost ourselves because our culture is also most of our culture is based on our
Language.
principal life.
Yeah.
Yes, it's also been taught by our or what is nenek moyang, which taught by our ancestry. Is because how about preserve your mores, because how become to be a polite people in a community. That's my imagination about culture and
Okay,
language.
cool. Thank you. So let me move to the next slide and there will be a new question as well. Yeah, based on the topic that I bring here to our discussion tonight, yeah, how can yet involvement impact language preservation on for the benefits or multilingualism for individuals and society, especially to um, preserve our local language. So let me move to first and give a chance to what about you, Dania? Miss Dania? I thought you were the person that just joined our discussion before, and it's not you. What about you, Dania? Wanna try to give your opinion about this one?
Okay. Maybe I'm too late to join this discussion, but I'll try to answer. So the old generations really have a big impact here to the preservation of local language, I think. I just want to answer the benefit of multilingualism for individual and society. Or from my experience, when I in the elementary school, I have to move in the another city because I following my dad's job in there. So from the Borneo center, I moved to Java. And then in Java, I need to learn Javanese language and how to say like Hana Caraka, something like that. Because we have the exam, we use the Hana Caraka language without any like Indonesians or abjad in there. Just
Alphabet.
go to the Hana Caraka, yeah. Yeah, so and then I have to move again to the Goa, South Sulawesi. So the things that I learned is if you are love to learn another language like multilingualism, you will easier to communicate with everyone. You can easier to adapt in the new city, new environment that's really different with you, and of course you will get more friends. And from my experience when I moved to Goa and I can't speak how to say like the Makassar language, something like that, the logat, I don't know in English.
Accent.
They yeah, their accents, and for 3 days they don't want to talk to me. I don't know why.
Okay.
And since that I learned how to speak their accent, and after that in a week I finally get a friends, and because I can talk to them, yeah, and they also comfortable talk to me. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's my answer.
Di mana Ki di Goa, Miss Tania?
Is that?
Yeah, pardon.
That's an accent from Makassar. Di mana Ki tinggal di
Yeah,
Goa, Miss Tania?
Oh my
di
goodness.
lupa mi saya. I forgot it. I Goa tahu, I
There's a
don't
lot
know.
of me or ko or ki to presenting the languages. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It was also a culture. It's like a what's that called when you encounter the first shock after coming to some a specific
Yeah,
area?
that's right.
Culture shock.
Of course.
I think it's a culture shock. Like
Yeah, that's
so,
culture.
my auntie is from Sulawesi, right? So she
Yeah.
served a lot of food for dinner, and then all of a sudden she told to me that makan mi, which means by actually just eat or go ahead eating. And I was like, there's
Yeah.
noodle, there is no noodle here. What are you saying that makan mi? No noodle is all fish. I was like, I'm looking at my mom, and my mom was just laughing, but a little like giggling, like holding it, her laugh inside. But my father just loudly laughing at me that me means silahkan, or it's politely saying that silahkan makan, but that's made us perplexed. Absolutely. So that's the reason why I believe that it's super funny, but a cultural shock as well, because I think I can relate to Miss Dania when she encounter a cultural shock when she went to Goa. It's super funny when I encountered the first time I have to had a dinner with my auntie from my father's relation.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you, Miss Tanya. For me, I having a big deal when like suddenly I need to move to Makassar because my mom's big family
What?
yes, always use Makassar language, especially my mom when she was speaking with her family in Makassar. She always use a Makassar accent to talk. So yeah, when suddenly like I need to move there and study there in my elementary school. I have no big problem for me to communicate because I used to hear how the way we need or we can speak in Makassar language. But I have a big problem when I need to move to is Borneo. They use Kutai and Dayak accent, and yeah, I feel the same experience with Miss Dania. It for me it takes like 6 months to adapt with a new situation there and to get a new friend because when it was my first day in my school in Borneo. I have no idea how to speak with them, so I decided to use a formal Indonesian or Bahasa Linguist, which is like really, really awkward if you hear that in my age. So yeah, that's really awesome.
Same. So which Borneo you went to?
I was studying in Kutai Kartanegara, Tenggaro.
Oh, that was where I was born. Kutai Kartanegara is my region.
Oh, really? I was there for 3 years and more. When I was
Oh
studying
my God.
Geneva.
Tenggarong? Oh my goodness.
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of
Close.
little bit challenging, right? So
Wonderful experience.
yeah.
My insecurity is when I need to back to Borneo because right now I really forgot the accent of Banjar. So
Oh,
it's kind of quite difficult to speak.
Ikan udah makan belum?
Ika udah makan. Okay.
Well, it should be. It's supposed to be like a little bit more. Oh, it's not really actually Banjaran. Banjaranese because it's just totally hard. When I was in Samarinda, a lot of people are speaking Banjaranese, and
Yeah.
well, I think it's integrated between a lot of Banjaranese speaking their own accent in Samarinda, so that a lot of Samarindan people are speaking in the accent of Banjaranese compared to Dayaknese, as well as that Samarinda has a lot of Buginese.
Yep.
And even one part of the area, which is what we call Samarinda Seberang, they speak a lot of Buginese.
Yeah.
In the same area, in the same city, they speak two different languages. Look at how interesting the diversity that we have. It's just super, perplexing. Adding information.
Yeah, I feel the same thing as well with Miss Tania when I need to come back and study in Sulawesi. I lost my accent, and some of people in Sulawesi thought I am a Japanese because I got influenced because some of my best friend when I was living in Borneo, some of them are Japanese, so I used to hear that like the way they speak them. Oh my goodness. I love Indonesia. Okay, so what about you, Sir February? In your opinion, how can your involvement impact language preservation? What are the benefits of multilingualism for individual and society? I can just know.
Okay. For the first questions, I believe that speaker previously has already answered. But what are the benefits of multilingualism for individuals and society? I could say that there are a lot of advantages that we can take from what do we call multilingualism,
Yep.
like said here.
Yep.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, I think that there are some advantages that we can take from multilingualism. For example, I believe that's one of the instruments for everyone, not only for individual but for the society as well, to transform the information related to the even from local language to the national language or to the international language. So, or kebalikannya, I forgot. Kebalikannya. And another one, it also widened their opportunity to be what do we call to be more berkembang, to grow more in their society, or even to promote their own local culture or tourisms. That's really cool when it comes to Yeah, thank you so much. In the other hand, when it comes to when you have the ability to speak a lot of languages, so it will bring the benefits for local people as well to maybe promote local products or the local tourism, things like that. And it can, what do you go? It begins from young, I think, youngsters, because I don't know, I could say that, let's say millennials and Z generation, I don't know, we are, let's say Z generation, because I'm millennial. I will say like Z generations. They are born with the technology. I mean, like the technology and Gen Z are cannot be separated. They are, when they are born, they are in the advancement of technology, and then it also, I feel that they are born to master language easily.
Oh.
I don't know, especially for the international language. I don't know for the local language. That's the problem right now. That's the problem. I could say that if they care a lot about their about language preservation, especially local language, I think it can be very beneficial for Indonesians or even for locals. I think that's all.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And what about you, Miss Yanur? And that you ever imagine about this question, like how can youth involvement impact language preservation, and what are the benefits for a person or for people who are multilingualism for individual and society?
For this question, it's just simple for me. How can youth involvement impact language? Yeah. So we as the younger generation, the youngster, the important role to preserve our local language is about to preserve our culture, because the language is also the basic part of our culture, because the Indonesia is not just about the massive archipelago country, but it's also a massive multi-diversitional culture, ethnic. Yeah, so we as the next generation must preserve it to conserve what our ancestry had told us about the culture, the main important about the culture. And the benefits of multilingualism is also so easy, made us easy to communicate with the other people who has different background, different, if we as Japanese, for example, maybe I'm a Japanese, meeting someone in here who are different than me. Maybe I met someone from Bugis, maybe I'm from Papua, or maybe another. I think it's just about to learn our respect to the other people is also part of Indonesian, which means Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. We are different, but we are in one goal. That's a benefit of multilingualism.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Yanur. On what about you, Ms. Kalita? You were telling us that you were studying in Surabaya, and because of your respect of your friend who are Japanese, you decided to learn about Japanese as well. So at the time, what kind of benefits that you feel because you can speak Japanese with your friend?
Yeah, of course, we feel more connecting, yeah, if we can understand their language, yeah. Like my father, he can speak Japanese, Padanese, Indonesian, English, yeah, and he really likes not only the speaking but also the culture and the food, because he is live in Solo from elementary for grade until before he enter his high school, his junior high school. So I see my father can more flexible, yeah, if he is connecting with Japanese, with the Padanese, and with the Indonesian, yeah, he can more social, apa, her social life is more um, excellent, yeah. And then yeah, he also like the Hono Choroko and Wayang, he also like that. So he is I think if we are like the culture, it's because ourselves, yeah, not the pressure about like you have to learn it in the class or to get the point, and you want practicing anymore, right? Or you just like formality, just like that. But if you love the tradition and you love the language and you love everything about that, it's like the foreign people that came to Indonesia, they want to learn
Yeah.
about Japanese, like Padanese, right?
Yeah.
And they are want to take the lesson of that to studying in the college. So I think we have to be like free, yeah, when we are learning about the language and the traditional, because the preservation is because our interests,
Yes.
not the formality, something like that. If they like the traditional people, why they still using the language? Because they love the language, they
Yeah.
love the traditional, right? But if you didn't have connecting, mostly if you are bringing out like in the Jakarta, like myself, yeah, I from the little and from my friends, my cousin, they are the same with me. They don't have any connecting. It's not because they didn't interest, not like that, but our environment is different, right? But we didn't have any objective if we have to learn something, because we respect the community. Like when I went to the Surabaya, I learning the Japanese is for my choices. It's not because forcing for my friends, and mostly my friends is like said, oh, you don't have to learning the Japanese, let us talking in Indonesian, because maybe my accent is not like the Japanese, and sometimes
Pajo, Bone, Sidrap is the accent is so different.